loved ones. I'd like to introduce our amazing selection of panelists. We have Dwayne Straczynski, Ben Smith, Matt Smith, who you may know as one of the foremost assistants of Karl, Chris Ryle, and last but not least, John. We're going to be running through what 2000 AD has coming out, what's going to be coming out in terms of Judge Dredd stuff in America, and we'll see what happens. But are we ready to start the presentation? What do we got up first?
Nothing.
Yes. Okay. So let's just. They're coming.
Well, this is kind of a rundown of some of the new thrills that come to 2000 AD over the next few months. We have the first one. This is Aquila. I think that's how you pronounce it. Aquila. I don't know. It's a Roman Empire sex story written by Gordon Rennie, art by Lee Gallagher. The prologue story was in the Christmas issue just gone, and the first forward theory starts in the UK next week, but in the US maybe in a few weeks' time. Over the next one. And this is also starting in the same issue. This is Return of Eddie Zero, something you might be familiar with, Jock co-created. This time it's drawn by Ben Wilshire, still written by Ian Diggle. This issue, 1792, is a bit of a pre-launch issue. We've got 4 new stories starting, and Eddie's one of them. In 07, our highest intensity one story.
Can I just say something about that? Lenny Zero is a character that me and Andy Eagle that wrote The Losers, when we first worked together. And this is a story that we actually had planned to do, and I had like the first pages laid out, but it was probably 10 years ago, I guess, and then we got stolen and we did The Losers for DC instead. So, and Andy's always been holding it for when I could draw it, and it's never worked out. So he's finally doing it with another. And actually, Ben Wilshire, the artist, is amazing. I'm only joking. I don't actually want you to all kill him. If you could, that would be great. But check it out because the story's great, and Andy writes a really good heist story, and then this is well worth checking out.
Okay, good. This is a Dredd story, written and illustrated by Chris Weston, who many know now from the film The 12. This is going to be appearing in Prog 1800, which will be big jumping on Prog in September. This is the first Dredd story that Chris has actually written himself, and as you can see, he's really got the talent on it. Called The Death of Daddy Cannon. Which coincidentally comes out a week after the new Dredd film was released in the UK. That's one. And this is the return of the ABC Warriors. Once again, quite pat, illustrated by Fitz. Again, it starts in Prog 1800. This is called Return to Work. This is a story that fills in a bit of the backstory between ABC Warriors and Robusters. This is the story of how Hammerstein came from going from being on Mars as part of the ABC Warriors to ending up in a second-hand droid showroom next to Rojaws looking in the Robusters. Pitt's going to sort of start the story off in his full colour, this kind of style, and then we'll go into the flashback to be in black and white, pencil and inks, to give that kind of retro look. Next one. Remember next one. This is the cover that they started for the 3rd episode where Hammerstein arrives on Earth and rides out the water. The next one. This is another new story starting from 1800. This is called Brass Sun, written by Edgerton of Scarlet Traces and Stickleback. And I'm trying to think of the zombie one he did it for. Sherlock Holmes was his zombie. Anyway, this is drawn by ING Colbard, who did the New Dead Warrior for first go home. So sort of steampunky kind of fantasy story set on a sort of giant clockwork horror ring, these planets rotating around a mechanical sun that's slowly dying. So it's a bit, it's a slight departure from 2008 art style, more kind of European sort of sensibility to this one. And go to the next one. And this is The Return of Lowlife by Rob Williams and Israeli. And Dirty Frank wakes up to find himself on the moon. That's all I can tell you about this story because it's going to be part of something much bigger than it initially appeared. The next one. And this is Return of Jack Point, Pacific Detective, written by Simon Spurrier and drawn by Simon Colby. Simon's taken over Fraser Irving on this one. And the next one. This is the Dread story from the magazine. It's Ratfig's Revenge. If you're familiar with the character in the villain Ratfig from a story from a couple of years ago, he breaks out and in this case, the artwork in this case is Tina Trevelyan, who magazine actor. And next one. And here we go to the UK graphic novels, which are coming up in over the next few months.
Yeah, I just want to read a bit remedial. For anybody who's here who's only familiar with Dredd, who's wondering why we're mentioning these other stories. 2000 is a weekly anthology comic. We've got five stories of 6 pages each, and so there's always a different story, 5 different stories in there. But the only thing that unifies every single issue is the Judge Dredd story at the front. So that's, if anybody's wondering who these other characters are, that's why we do that. The UK graphic novels, lots of really exciting stuff coming up really. Obviously we've got a US line of novels as well, so there's kind of a bit of crossover, so you should be able to get both of these. Strontium Dog. Famously, Strontium Dog, I don't know if anybody is familiar with Space, the Simon Pegg sitcom. Basically, Simon Pegg's character in that, his life-defining moment was when Johnny Alpha, Strontium Dog, was killed forever. And it was an amazing moment in comics history. He died, he was never to come back 20 years later.
That never happens in comics.
That's a remarkable restraint.
Yeah. Well, this time he was killed off in the comics by Alan Grant, and John Wagner has brought him. Well, I don't want to say brought him back to life because that's not quite how it happened. But so this is the first time in 20 years that we've had a new Strontium Dog story that is set after the events of his death. So that's going to be very exciting. That was out there shortly. Savage, a little Patmos classic. Invasion was an early 2000 AD story in which the Vulgans invaded Britain in 1980, I believe, and basically occupied the country. It was kind of a resistance story. Now, Pat rebooted that about in the early noughties with Savage, who's Bill Savage's lead character, who's a London trucker who's become a leader of the resistance, and this is continuing his adventures undercover, in which he's got a new identity, and it is basically trying to bring the Vulgan Empire down. For those of you familiar with the Mills verse, the Vulgan War is also part of ABC Warriors, and you begin to see the genesis of the Hammerstein robot and Blackbird in that story. So that's anybody who's familiar with ABC Warriors is going to love Savage as well. John Dredd is also a London copper. That's from a Mark Miller story. The restricted files are when we take the case files are chronological Dredd from 1977 onwards, we're up to case files 19. The restricted files pulls together all the stuff that's in the annuals and the specials that wasn't part of the straight continuity, and so you just get, this is where you probably get off kilter Dredd. Are we going with we'll book along? So we do back to woman and all. Shikara is a brilliant new, the best designed science fiction story you'll ever see. Come down to booth 2806, you'll see the first book by Finding Flint and Robin Morrison. Extraordinary. Nikolai Dante, the final book in the Nikolai Dante story, 10 volumes in. This is where it all ends, with an absolutely amazing conclusion that's currently running in the public. The last issue is right now.
Yeah.
And then our first art book that we've ever done in 35 years is 35 years of Judge Dredd covers. Comments from plenty of the artists and writers and people involved, and that's going to be a large, famous, nice, beautiful edition. Somewhat like some of our friends at Cool. Oh, so many things. Let's go through these really quickly. Judge Dredd Inferno, Karl. I don't need to say anything really. Look at the names. Look at the cover. It is what it is. It's actually a wonderful story. With a meat virus in it as well. That one's coming out in September. Steve Dillon, John Wagner. I'm not going to say any more. This comes in. And then Tharg's Creepy Chronicles. Basically, this is where Tharg often has tales to chill and thrill as well. And it's a lovely new Kelly Jones cover. And this is the 10 seconders, Rob Williams, Mark Harrison's kind of king superhero story.
Hello.
You might be familiar with this. I think we're going to talk about the movie a little bit more later.
Yeah, we want to jump ahead to the comics and then we'll get back to that. So this is really all you've seen from IDW so far, just this one piece by Zach Howard. But as of today, we're now officially ready and willing and able to talk about our Judge Dredd plan. So the one name of everybody up on this panel that wasn't announced in the panel guide was Dwayne Schwarzinski, which is, because we're announcing right now that Dwayne is now the writer on our ongoing Dredd series that launches in November. The ongoing series is it'll have 2 stories in each issue. We're going to be doing 16-page, the main story, which the artist for that is going to be Nelson Daniel. Nelson Daniel is a Chilean artist who he first drew Road Rage with me, the Stephen King project, the Joe Hill project that we did. He's now doing a book called The Cape, which is another Joe Hill project, and then he'll be moving from that to this doing full art and colors. And his coloring wizardry, besides the point, is he colors like nobody else in the business right now, but he colored this Zach Howard piece. But the art that he's done on these other 2 series for us too is just, it really feels perfect to us for Dredd and for Mega City 1. So we're excited to have he and Dwayne as the main creators on this book. And then sort of to be true to the spirit of Dredd, I wanted to have 6-page backups of each issue as well. And Dwayne's going to be writing those as well. And we're going to be working with people like, first we Paul Gulacy and then Jim Starlin. And when we all first talked about what we wanted to do with Dredd, we wanted to, do the best we could to reach artists that hadn't worked on Dredd in any capacity before, or that hadn't really put out a definitive version of their take on Dredd. So I'm at least at the start trying to get a lot of guys, a lot of classic American artists, or just people that that are really well known for what they do, but haven't ever done Dredd before. So we've seen people like Starlin and Gulacy and a lot of others that I won't name just yet, but they'll be doing the backups. And let me turn it over to Dwayne to talk a little bit about our take on Dredd and what we're going to be doing without telling you too much.
Well, first off, he's singing "Slow It Off Forever." What he tells us, maybe change up a little bit. I'm kidding. Good shot here. No, I've been a lifelong fan of Dredd. Since I was a teenager, I actually found it in a very weird way. I found it